Welcome to Martini Time, my favorite time of the day. You know, I give my talks in the morning, and I'm kind of high on meditation. And my talks in the evening are fueled by gin. So, one sip of gas at a time. Some people think gin tastes like gas. That's why you put a little vermouth in it to give you the illusion that it's not. So, I'm using a new, as you know, I like props, and so I'm using this now as my metaphor because we're spinning a world here. You see this? This is a little Buddhist prayer wheel. Well, we're not spinning a prayer, we're spinning a world. And the title of this talk, which I just got when I was in the toilet. I always have insights there. And so the insight, the idea was, what happened to Jake Sully? Remember Avatar? And Jake Sully said, I'm signing off now. It's my birthday. And he goes on and grafts with the Navi body and becomes, we don't know. He just, the movie ends with the big looking at you, you know, like I'm awake, which is what the Buddha said when he awoke. The Buddha means the awakened one. So the avatar is the awakened one. So what happened to Jake Sully? And who is the avatar? And really, I really think, you know, I've got a web page called Avatar and the Voyage to Pandora, and I wrote on it for couple of years, so it's all filled up. But I keep adding, and I'll probably add this to it because I just thought of it. And so, who is Jake Sully? Where did he go? And you see, I am fueled. My writing and my speaking here is fueled by connecting the dots. Just like a conspiracy theorist connects the dots and comes up with the idea, aha, I know who brought down the Twin Towers. See, aha. So I'm kind of like that. But the aha basically is, I see something I never saw before and I want to share it. Because it's relevant and it's universal to how your mind works, how my mind works, how your mind works, because of where I am anyway, and I hope to share this with other people and get them motivated, is to be interested in how your mind works. If you don't know how a car works, you can't fix it. If you don't know how your computer works, you can't fix it. You can't fix anything unless you know how it works. You can't fix anything. And the mind has an operating system, but we have no idea how it works. So we just enter into what the mind creates as if someone else created it. And then we have to find a theory of who created my mind. Because we don't say, I didn't create it. I didn't create the world I'm living in. Somebody else did it. God did it. The devil did it. Obama did it. I don't know. Somebody did it. Fate did it. Chance. Just blind chance happened to the cosmos, just a bunch of atoms whopping around and boom, it made me. That's one theory that explains everything, or does it? Doesn't explain who you feel you are. So who is Jake Sully and where did he go? And I really think the movies are metaphors. And that movie was created by James Cameron. And it's my understanding that he had this as an idea 20, 30 years ago. I don't know. But he never could give it flesh and blood because the technology wasn't there to do it. So when digital technology, the conditions got right, boom, Avatar. So that's his creation. And I think it's his autobiography. I think he was Jake Sully. And I think the metaphor of these movies are metaphors. So I think the formula of the Avatar is the formula of the hero's journey described by Joseph Campbell. That is a universal formula for the awakening of the soul, which is you. So it's a formula for the awakening of you. So if we can understand the formula, we can recreate the experiment. If you have the recipe, you can recreate the meal. If a scientist discovers something, he creates a formula, and if other people can repeat it, aha, it works. Eureka. And then everybody does it, and then it becomes everyday stuff. It's no longer a big deal. We just do that, you see. So every day, the awakening of the Buddha is big stuff. Not everybody can do it. And if you do it, you have to disguise it. You can't go around saying, I'm the Buddha. The Buddha's not a thing. The Buddha's awakening. So how do you manifest, how do you give form to awakening? You can't use somebody else. You can't use Jesus. Oh, well, I'm Jesus. No, that's what Jesus did. I'm the Buddha. No, that's what the Buddha did. You can't copy it. It's copyright. You have to invent your own form, your own metaphor, you see. And that's what awakening does, because awakening is creative. When you are awakened, you become creative. And we all have moments of creativity, little spots and jumps and insights and moments where, wow, who did that? You see, wow, I didn't realize I had that in me. I didn't realize I had that. Where'd that idea come from? Or you just say something at the right time. Wow. You see, or you come up with a solution to something. Everybody's, how do you do this? And you say, well, just do this. Where did that come from, you see? So we have these moments of creativity, but we don't connect the dots. We think it's chance, fluke. I don't know. We think, well, I had a little too much gin. So we don't have this blueprint of awakening to connect the dots to all of our little moments of awakening. Our reality map doesn't have that map. In the Western materialistic paradigm or worldview or map of the world, there is no awakening. There is no consciousness. It's all matter. And matter can't awaken. A thing can't awaken. A robot can't awaken, you see. We don't know what awakening is. So we try to make it fit into our reality map. Like that square peg in a round hole. You see, bam, hammer it in there. So we can't explain fire walking. We can't explain simple mind-bending spoons. You see, oh, it's a hoax. See, so there's a lot of things that we can't explain, and then a lot of people come up with a theory to explain it, you see, but it's still an experience, a theory. Awakening is not a theory. So what happened to Jake Sully? So, if you remember the movie, Jake Sully was doing a video recording of his experiences on Pandora. And then, when it was his birthday, and he had to go and die into the merger with the Navi body, when this Navi body, and which was a dream extension of Jake Sully. See, the Navi body was a projection, like a dream projection, that was animated while Jake Sully was asleep. And when Jake Sully woke up, the avatar body went to sleep. So it was kind of like this. You see, Jake Sully's awake, avatar is asleep. Navi body. When Jake Sully goes to sleep, Navi's awake. So this is going back and forth like that. So then it comes to a climax, and the system that kept Jake Sully alive in the atmosphere of Pandora collapsed. So now you've got Jake Sully and his avatar body have to become one. And so he logs off on his video and says, this is my birthday. Jake Sully, I'm signing off. And he goes down and they hook him up and they do their magic and ging, 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 and he wakes up and it ends. He's awake. What was merged together? Jake Sully is mind, sky people. Navi, Pandora is body. Body, intuitive, bonding. Navi, sky people, intellect, concepts, mind, body. So the dance between Jake Sully and his Avid body was between mind and body, right? One goes to sleep, the other one comes up. And you notice how Jake Sully had to learn how to live in his body. Trust it. Jump off a tree. Your body knows what to do. Jump on that dragon. Your body knows what to do. Trust your body. Jump. Jump. It's always this boot camp. His mind had to learn how to trust his body. So what is awakening but trust? Trusting this moment, surrendering to this moment, awakens, but you have to name it, your Buddha mind or your Christ mind, but you have to name it. You see, because you can't, it's all copyrighted. You can't go back and say, I'm Jesus or Buddha. You see. So in order to awaken, you have to create your metaphor. So I think James Cameron was creating a metaphor that was a name and a story for his awakening. He's a very creative person. So he is, and awakened people look like everyone else. If they look like somebody in the past, well then they're not awakened. They're just cloning Jesus or some guru or something. They're just looking like they're awakened. Everybody, oh, he's so awakened on that, you see. But the awakened person is just everyday person, just walking around, you see. But there's a difference because they live spontaneously. And spontaneity means you are creative according to the needs of the moment. If the moment doesn't need any creativity, you're not creative. If the moment requires a creative response, it's there, you see. So the everyday person is like Superman. Superman's a metaphor. Clark Kent, everyday person. Underneath, big S. When the moment calls, boom, Superman's there. So when the moment calls, awakening is there. If I have a timer on, and it also gets my phone calls. So, so you see let me stop this. So you see what I'm playing with here is the idea that awakening is nothing special in the sense that you look like you're awakened. But awakening is always fresh. You're always awakened to the moment. So you're always surrendering to the moment. And that's why I use these talks. I was talking about this morning, in that this talk here, where I come in here, be with you, is a surrender. See, I have there's no time here with you and me. Time in the sense that, oh, I got to get somewhere, I got to say something I got planned, I got to say something important, I got to review it and check it and make sure it's okay. I have my speech prepared. I don't want to make a fool of myself, you see. And so this is a surrender. I got nothing. I got nothing, you see. Schultz in the Hogan's Hero. I know nothing, you see. So there's that surrender to not knowing anything. And this takes quite a while to make this surrender. It takes quite a lot of trial and error. It takes quite a lot of meditation, if you want. But it takes some while to learn how to surrender for no reason at all. You see, the problem with surrender is that the Bible says and all this, well, you should surrender in order to get awakened. Well, that doesn't work because you're in time. I got to surrender now, and so I can get awakened tomorrow, in the future, in a few moments. You see, time. So the end is in time, and the means is surrender now. That doesn't work because you're still in time. So the surrender of awakening is timeless. In order to be timeless, you have to give it up for no reason. You have to give it up as a game. Surrender is play. Surrender is surrendering to play. Children know how to do this. Watch a kid. He surrenders to the play. And then you say, come on home for dinner, and he drops the play and comes home for dinner. As if it never happened. But while he's in the play, he's seriously playing. He's all there in the play, yet at the same time, he's playing. So surrender is play. Adult play. We surrender to the moment and play. Creativity is play. So we create. We surrender to the moment and we create worlds. And then we can live in it or not. You see, we create worlds. We spin worlds. That's what human beings are doing. But if we don't do it as play, then we think it's a real world and we live in it. And we think somebody else created it. God did it. The devil did it. Obama did it. You see. We think it's real. We think it exists outside of us. But the world we live in is created by me. And when you die, you take it with you. Each of us creates a world and lives in it. And when we die, it goes back down the drain. You see. It was all play. The Hindu religion sees that God is called Leela, the play of God, the play of consciousness. It's all play. You see, God's playing. And then he forgets he's playing. And then he gets surprised. Oh! And Jake Sully wakes up. He forgets he's playing, and then he wakes up and he's surprised. He says, oh, it's a great play. I'm so surprised. Yay! That was a good one. That was really a good one, you know. You see? So we're all creating worlds and then playing in it, forgetting that we created it. So we blame it on somebody else. It didn't come out right. Well, if it didn't come out right, you created it. And the remembering that I'm the creator of the world that I'm living in is like, get my little world going here, is this point here. This is the stable. This is the world. Spins around like the eye of a hurricane. But you see, I see my hands doing it. So when I see that my hand is in the world creating it, like one hand is, like you're with a watering hose, and you're watering the garden, and you start squirting yourself, but you've got your hand on the hose and you don't know it. So you stop squirting me, you're squirting me, but your hand's on the hose turning the water on. If you see that your hand's on the hose, you stop it. And you realize that I created the water squirting me. I created the world squirting me. If I feel like a victim, my hand's on the hose. I created it. I'm playing a game of being a victim. So that's why we're always a victim if we're a victim, because we're creating it. We like to play. But we don't remember. We've forgotten. We've gone to sleep. We think somebody else is creating it. So waking up is remembering that I'm creating the world I'm living in. And that's a joyous awakening, because now I can create any kind of world. But it's always going to be conditioned on what's given. I can't create a world that doesn't have, that doesn't use the ingredients that are given. You can't create a recipe in the kitchen unless you use the ingredients that you got in the refrigerator. So we can't create any, but the combination of the ingredients is different. Take the same ingredients and a cook can create different meals. So we all use the same ingredients, we're all creating different worlds. Same ingredients, different worlds. And then we forget. Hear my little bell? Time to go. Thank you for dropping in. I'll see you in the morning when I'm not high on gin.